Hey, what's happening everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another video, and today I'm here to give you guys my review on the Ultimate Works OB4 lightsaber, which if you couldn't figure it out based on its name, this is the Obi-Wan lightsaber based on episode 4. So a clever name for the title, that's for sure. Now, do keep in mind that for the main review is that I'm mostly going to be focusing on the hilt. I'm not going to go into detail about the soundboard itself because this is using the Asteria Soundboard 2.5, which I've already covered previously in the Darth Revan Saber reviews. But don't worry, I will still insert a blade, cycle through different fonts, and make a few different statements along the way, if you haven't seen that original video, that is. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to do is basically give you guys a close-up look here. So it's a well done lightsaber, extremely well built, and in fact, I can't figure out who the maker of the hilt is, because typically a lot of companies, they'll get their hilt from some different site or whatever, and they're pretty much just doing the electronic works, which is why this has the Asteria soundboard from Ultimate Works. And again, I don't know where this hilt is originally from, if Ultimate Works are the ones that actually did the hilt, or is this an 89 Saber hilt or something else. Again, if you guys have more information, please let me know, but this feels like an 89 Saber hilt based on its quality. So here is the emitter section. Now you'll notice that on mine here, mine's not as black as it used to be. That's because I took 400 grit sandpaper, sanded this down, got the desired look. It looks a little bit better than person compared to video, but I thought that turned out well. I believe with the original prop, this ring section was more of a black colorization, which I'll probably do down the road, because right now I didn't do too much weathering. I'm probably going to do a little bit more research and then eventually hit it up with however I want to do it. However, for this grenade section, I did tone this down quite a bit to give it a little bit more of a worn look to it than how it originally was, which again was also pretty much all black. I took steel wool, wiped it all the way around several different times, took some sandpaper on the edges, and pretty much got the desired look to have it more worn than new. And then of course we have our control block section. And I also weather down these little bits here too. Now in terms of where does this come apart, this top section here, if you unscrew in I believe it was a clockwise rotation, yep, a clockwise rotation, you could actually loosen this, drop this down, and you'll get access to your retention screws. For this bottom section here, it actually unscrews right here in this area. And when you unscrew it, you'll actually have access to pull out your chassis, which is a removable chassis. And of course, not only is it a removable chassis, but it also has a removable battery. So if you want to keep extras, that's a good way to go about it. And then you have this bottom section here, which can also be removed or loosened, however you want to go by, which we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that in just a moment. Now, I have mentioned in the unboxing video that this thing has quite a bit of heftiness to this. Again, it feels like a solid lightsaber, and I took notice of the weight immediately as soon as I took it out of the box. In fact, because I was so curious, I finally bought a scale. It's a digital scale, but we're going to go ahead and use this for, I guess, future reviews. Let's go ahead and turn this on and see officially how much does this weigh. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do it once more. Make sure we have an accurate reading. So according to the digital scale, the Obi-Wan lightsaber weighs in at 2 pounds, 8 ounces. So that's how heavy the saber is. I knew there was some weight to it, but again, it feels great. Now, in terms of your switches, it's actually going to be located right here.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
So this will be your power button. You hold it to boot it on, and you could hold it to turn it off. Or if you're not using this, after a couple minutes, it will actually automatically turn itself off. Again, this also features smooth swing. Now, as I mentioned, you have this bottom section here, which, by the way, if you do get one and this bottom section is really tight for you, what I ended up using was WD-40 after I removed this section off, because I used the nozzle to squirt right into the center portion where it's screwed into. And after about 2 or 3 coats of that, just letting it kind of sit and soak in, do its job, I went back at it with the palm of my hand. I pushed in and rotated counterclockwise and finally ended up getting mine loose. But we're going to go ahead and remove this now. And then activate. So you may have noticed that the speaker sounds much louder. That's because we don't have this thing blocking the sound anymore. So we're going to go ahead and now insert the blade. Again, bring that down. And let's see. We'll use the shorter blade so we could actually swing this a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and remove the blade plug, which is now dropped on the floor. Let's see. Just wanted to make sure that the blade was down all the way before tightening up anything. And there's 3 sections too, by the way, for the retention screw if you are curious. And because this is a thin neck design, it's not going to be recommended for dueling. And then again, this is a NeoPixel setup, so you don't want to be dueling with it anyways. Just like that, our blade is now inserted. Let's go ahead and turn off a couple of the lights here. Which is alright, because I noticed the light panel here on this side was already about to die. As you can see, we got a nice bright blue NeoPixel blade. Go ahead and switch.
At last we will have our revenge.
So we got a Darth Maul in here. Oop, hit the little table there. So what's neat about the Asteria 2.5 soundboard is that it could actually support a lot of different Saber fonts. So you don't have to use anything specifically for this board, because basically all the fonts that I have on here were originally for CFX, and this board supports it. It's got smooth swing enabled. You could even add music on here. I actually don't have any music, but I do actually have a Darth Vader breathing. So if we click in this bottom button here about 2 or 3 times quickly, we have Darth Vader's breathing, which I've added, by the way. It's not there by default. And then a couple presses again, or 3 presses. You got to be like really quick about it. And then there you go. If you quickly tap in the power button, it will actually activate Saber Mute. And of course, you can unmute it by either triple tapping the power button 3 times, or just turning the Saber off and turning it back on will basically kind of bring it back to its original state. And then of course, the second button too, if you hold it down, will actually allow you to switch fonts. Hold it down again. Then we got Obi-Wan. Again, all sounds really good. I noticed that my blade is kind of wobbling here. I don't have that down properly, so that's my mistake. And we're just going to kind of activate 2 or 3 more other fonts here.
Vengeance.
It has to be this way. I will have my vengeance.
We'll go ahead and do this one. Now, also too, were the different effects. So basically what it's done is that they actually have an effects folder separate. If you open the effects folder with a notepad, it'll actually tell you what the effect will do, and you could go ahead and drop it or mix other effects in there to kind of see what kind of results you're going to get. Again, if you want to keep it simplistic and basic, you could basically use the first 3 or 4 fonts that are set up, because they're going to use the most common things, you know, basically just a static light or maybe a pulse. And then, of course, the fonts after that is replicas of whatever's on the SD card by default, and they're just kind of utilizing different effects to kind of show you some of the different examples. So if there's something that you like, you can keep it. If there's something you don't like, then change it. You know, pretty straightforward.
Knighthood.
Let's see. I always forget. That one's a little bit of a long one. I need to shorten that one.
I'm the Jedi.
That one's always a fun one.
Maybe I won't go easy on you this time.
Ezra. Here's an example of another effect. You'll notice that this is shifting between blue and green. If we switch colors here, it's kind of going the opposite direction. Let's see. Oop. And then other colors here. So I really like these little simplistic effects, kind of adds a nice touch to it. And then
Lord Vader. Empress Palpatine.
this one's got the chaotic effect on there. As you can see, kind of like an unstable, but they just call it chaotic. You can see it more there. Has a nice look to it. And then we're going to go back to...
At last we will have our revenge.
That's the Darth Maul. And then back to Obi-Wan. And of course I have it to where what's neat is that even though by default you kind of get basic stuff that you may not like, is that it's completely customizable. So the stuff that's on there by default, like when you're switching colors, you could change how that sounds. Booting it on and off instead of boot or power off. Again, you could have it being whatever quote you want. So for example, in my case, if I'm done using the saber and want to turn it off, I hold down the power button.
I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
And it's as simple as that. So overall, what do I think about the Obi-Wan, or in this case, the Ultimate Works OB4 lightsaber? Overall, the hilt is a very good build quality. Again, I want to know the actual company that makes the hilt. I don't know if it's Ultimate Works directly or if it's legit 89 Sabers just from alterations. Again, I'm not 100% certain on that. But do I feel like this Obi-Wan hilt is completely worth the asking price? And yeah, for me, I got mine fully installed. You can choose to get an empty one. I don't think as of yet there's any pre-kit options, which the pre-kit option, for those of you who don't know, basically has it to where if you already have, let's say, another Ultimate Works lightsaber, and a pre-kit option is basically where they have the basic portion of the electronics already set up, like the NeoPixel and whatnot, then all you do is basically remove the chassis of one of your other sabers and plug it into your newer one, and then you're basically good to go. At least at the moment, not that I've seen, but maybe down the road we'll probably see a pre-kit option. But for now, I've only seen options between empty hilts and or fully installed one, which I think at the current moment anyways, they're sold out. But again, I'll have links to the site in the description down below. But if you have any questions, I'll see you guys on the next video upload, which will be me unboxing the Graphic Supreme. Until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your day.